wrestling fans. My name is Bryan Crazy, and you are watching the FN brand of wrestling and entertainment here on YouTube.com. Thanks for tuning in once again. I am back with my review of the longest running weekly episodic television show in history. That's right, Monday Night Raw for May 21st, 2012. Monday Night Raw emanated from Richmond, Virginia at the Richmond Coliseum tonight. It was a pretty good night on Raw, and before I begin, please check out the official website of the FN brand at FightNationWrestling.com, and please also follow me on my new Twitter at BryanCrazy2001. So we start off the show with John Cena. He comes out and cuts a promo about the match last night at Over the Limit against John Laurinaitis. Johnny Ace comes out and then brings out the Big Show. The Big Show says everyone wants an explanation, but nobody is entitled to one. He says that anybody that was in this position would have done the same thing, and then goes on to say that he now has an ironclad contract with the WWE. Out comes David Otunga. Says Johnny Ace beat John Cena last night, and tonight he will do the same thing. John Cena clearly says he is not in the mood and tells David Otunga to go watch a rerun of Law & Order. John Cena has been absolutely just pissed off since he's come out to the ring, and this is a little bit different of a Cena than we've seen as of late. Even Brock Lesnar didn't get John Cena this mad. I mean, Johnny Ace has really gotten under the skin, and Big Show has really gotten under the skin of John Cena. Cena then picked up the win over David Otunga after he hit the AA and then locked him in the STF. After he locked him in the STF, David Otunga tapped, but he refused to release the hold. Out comes Darren Young, Titus O'Neil, Kurt Hawkins, and Tyler Rex, all superstars that are friendly with the People Power John Laurinaitis regime, and they start beating down on John Cena. Out comes Sheamus for the save, and Johnny Laurinaitis says, hey, I didn't tell any of you guys to get involved. All of you get in the back, and then Johnny Laurinaitis books a huge main event for later in the night. It will be Sheamus and John Cena teaming together against 3 men in a 2-on-3 handicap match, but that's not all. It will also be a lumberjack match. Then we go into the next competition. Ricardo Rodriguez is in the ring. He is about to introduce Alberto Del Rio, and Santino Marella comes down and interrupts him. He gives him a little lesson about the rolling R's, which I took Spanish for several years, and I still can't get a rolling R down, and I'll make you guys laugh if I even try it, so we're not even going to attempt it here. But basically, Santino just messes with Ricardo. It's absolutely hilarious. And at one point, Ricardo acts like he's about to fight him. He tries to take his coat off, but it's still buttoned. He gets his arms caught, and then he gets hit with the Cobra. I mean, it was just some funny stuff. Then we go into Del Rio versus Randy Orton. Randy Orton ends up picking up the win in this match via disqualification after Chris Jericho attacked Randy Orton. He ends up hitting him with not 2, but 3 code breakers, and keeps just yelling at him, I'm the best in the world. And I think he feels like Randy Orton is partially responsible for his loss last night at the Over the Limit pay-per-view. Chris Jericho was very close to capturing the World's Heavyweight title, but Randy Orton was one of those stumbling blocks that kept him from capturing that championship gold. Then we go into Daniel Bryan. He comes out and cuts a promo, and then out comes CM Punk. These two go back and forth, and then CM Punk ends up playing the footage of the match last week on SmackDown, where I believe Daniel Bryan hit Kane with the chair and then threw it to Punk, and then Kane ended up beating down on Punk. And then CM Punk introduces Daniel Bryan's opponent for tonight, that being Kane. These two go back and forth until Daniel Bryan actually picks up the match via disqualification after CM Punk gets involved. And we see Kane just after the match ends, hit chair shots on him, roll him back in the ring, ends up chokeslam, and this is when Punk gets in the ring and says, oh, I can't put you into submission, and locks him in the Anaconda Vice. Then we go into a rematch. Wow. A recap of the situation last week between Triple H and Paul Heyman. Then we go into the next match. Christian one-on-one against Jinder Mahal. Christian became the new Intercontinental Champion last night in a very good match against Cody Rhodes. And I'm really glad to see him in competition on Monday Night Raw. He ends up picking up the win over Jinder Mahal. He hits the kill switch and then hits a huge splash for the win. Then we go into Divas action, Beth Phoenix versus Kelly Kelly. Beth Phoenix is victorious. She ends up picking up the win over Kelly Kelly via the Glam Slam. Then we go into the main event. It will be Jack Swagger, Dolph Ziggler, and Tensai. Yes, Lord Tensai has been slightly rebranded. He is no longer being known as Lord Tensai. It's going to be simply Tensai. And it looks like he's dropped the robe and the head guard for right now. And it's going to be those 3 competitors going against John Cena and Sheamus. This is the match I mentioned a little bit earlier on in this review. It is a lumberjack match. The match breaks down after some really good competition between all the superstars involved, completely breaks down, and the whole locker room ends up spilling out. all of the superstars that were in the Lumberjacks were all superstars that were friendly to John Laurinaitis and his regime. All the superstars that really aren't friendly to John Laurinaitis or kind of stayed neutral are the ones that came out. During all this, John Cena ended up exiting the ringside area. He went looking for the Big Show. He ended up finding John Laurinaitis, and as he's distracted with Laurinaitis, Big Show comes out of nowhere, clocks him with the WMD, and knocks him out. I thought it was a pretty good night on Raw. I do have to say, a lot of the matches were very solid tonight. The one thing I do have to say is Del Rio versus Orton. When this first was announced, I was a little curious how this was going to play out, if it was going to end up being, in fact, a #1 contenders match. I was wondering, why isn't this on SmackDown? By hyping it tonight, maybe having a rematch or the culmination on SmackDown for the #1 contender, it's further hyping that product. If they were going to have that sort of match or a furtherance, and this was going to be the #1 contenders match for the World's Heavyweight title, I think it would be doing SmackDown a disservice. I think SmackDown needs more matches like this. I honestly do. Last year, SmackDown was absolutely on fire. We had Del Rio, Dolph Ziggler, Rey Mysterio. I mean, the cast of characters was absolutely phenomenal. This year, they've done very well for the superstars that they have over there. Don't get me wrong, but it seems like as of late, there's been a lot of recap packages, a lot of, I don't know, it's just a little bit different of a product, and I really hope they get back to that core SmackDown that all of us fans enjoy. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy SmackDown. I still tune in every week, and I still find it a very enjoyable product. But that main event they gave us last week, that was just a little taste. Us fans want more. Thank you for checking out this video. Thank you for being loyal fans and subscribers of the FN brand of wrestling and entertainment here on YouTube.com. Please drop your comments below. I can't wait to hear your feedback and get to respond to you guys with some of my additional thoughts that maybe I did not include within this video. Thank you for watching. Have a great night, and I'll catch you a little bit later.